very customized to every patient, their need. So this is a game changer there. So once again, kudos to Nikhil and Team Endot for making this happen. Because we lacked it in India, we didn't have this product, and now it's going to really change the face of it. So what pilocarpine has been there for a really long time for glaucoma treatment. So it's been tried and tested. It's one of the drugs which has been there for ages. Like I'm talking about since maybe 100 years or so. So a diluted form, a form which is now going to be used for presbyopia, is actually a very genius effort at making presbyopia a success because it acts by making these muscles which control the flexibility of the lens, making it more flexible so that all of us can see better. Also, it constricts the pupil and makes it smaller, so it gives us a beautiful depth. Like Sir mentioned, even in low light, you can read. That happens because of the pupillary size. So just once a day dosage of putting this in early in the morning, and then in 15-20 minutes you can read. That's like Harry Potter magic. So on total, it's quite promising, and I think we'll be putting a lot of this in our OPDs.
Wow, just once a day? You don't even have to remind yourself to put something like 3 times a day. This is really
Last 10 years, we've engaged in bold and indigenous research that has allowed us to develop and launch several products, medicines for the first time in India and some for the first time in the world. I believe that for us to create an innovation-based industry, someone needs to step up and do genuine research and be truly self-reliant. I was just speaking to Dr. Buckley a bit earlier on in terms of how we can make our industry self-reliant. Right now, almost 50% of our industry depends on sales to the US. I don't think moving forward we should be so much reliant on one country or the policy of one country. I believe India could also focus on countries of the global south, on developing countries, and obviously our own domestic sector, which I think is quite untapped even now. We have 1.4 billion people. Even if you take out the
we are looking at that's an intermediate vision. So even the intermediate vision was tested at the end of 30 days, and the patients receiving placebo found to be significantly better than those receiving placebo. In terms of side effects, there were very few, less than 3% most of them. So about 3% patients got eye irritation, about 2.5% got redness of the eyes or a little bit of blurring, but that is normally expected, and as a result, no single severe side effect or none of the patient discontinued from the therapy. So based on that, Drug Control of India, and there is an expert committee which is formed of ophthalmologists, they looked at the data and approved the product, and we are happy that this product will now be available for the Indian population.
the clinical trials and of course the patch, the COVID patch that came in between. So I'm going to ask Dr. Barclays, so share with us how you were involved in this entire research process for Press Group, and something that you like to talk to us about, the clinical trials, especially for the ophthalmology segment. If you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the phase 3 clinical trials is the centerpiece for the proof of evidence for clinical efficacy, and as you know, for any new drug which is being brought for the first time in India, you will require a rigorous clinical trial. These are called phase 3 trials because this is the last phase before market introduction. And Entot did a full-fledged phase 3 trial in about 234 subjects, patients, at about 15 different eye hospitals spanning many of the states, and with a single protocol. And this is a trial that is called a randomized control trial because placebo is the control here. As you know, placebo is the inert medication. So these 234 patients at 15 different ophthalmic clinics, they put these eye drops, they were split into two groups, one group receiving the active drug, which is the Presview, and the other group receiving placebo, which was in this case Dr. Aditya said that there was no therapeutic option for breast myopia all these years. So when we came out with the idea, it was mainly sitting with all the ophthalmologists and discussing what the solution can be. And then that's when we got the idea that why not formulate our own version of pilocarpine for the treatment of presbyopia. So it was the advice and the suggestions of ophthalmologists all across the country who really helped us develop this.
and it was the need of the hour then. There were a lot of ophthalmologists from all over India who were advising us to go for this. So that is how the idea came about. And then we obviously got our R&D involved. We started developing it. This work started in 2019, before the pandemic. Even during the pandemic, our labs were open all throughout the year to research this, to stabilize the formulation. And then post-pandemic, we applied to DCGI, got the approvals needed for the phase 3 trials, and then eventually got it approved. So it's been a long journey. It's been almost 5 years. But I think one thing that I want to say here is that here in India, we can develop formulations like this from scratch at almost one-tenth the cost of what it would have costed in the US. So I think that advantage we have the right people, we have everything there now, we have the research infrastructure. I think all we need is the will to do something, and I think that's where we succeeded in this case.
That's great to